I'm so often wearing a crew neck t-shirt or button-up, but one of the touches that make vintage patterns so interesting is the many different neckline options. There are a lot of variations to add a bit of interest around the face. Let's start out with a look at some vintage collars. They can really make a statement. I have to start with Advance 2788 from 1942. The sailor collar is just perfect. And how about these two butterick patterns from the 1930s? They both have large collars with a bow detail. Here's a beauty from the 1930s with a great scarf collar. And the double square collar on this dress from 1951 is really stunning. This 1960s suit has a classic standing collar with a bow. And how about the huge collar on this 1960s butterick pattern? Shaped necklines were popular all through the 20th century. Advance 4721 from 1947 has a wonderful scalloped neckline. McCall's 7886 offers another take on scallops with a jewel neckline highlighted by a scalloped yoke. This butterick coat and dress ensemble from 1953 has a great notched neckline on the dress and a shaped standing collar on the coat. These two party dresses from the 1950s have great shaped necklines to offset the full skirts. And I can't forget Vogue's 6632 from 1948. This is one of my favorite necklines. Shirring is a great way to accent a neckline. This adorable gown from 1947 uses a shirred panel to create the bodice yoke and sleeve. I'm not sure about the shirring on the hips though. This 1955 gown uses a softly pleated panel rather than a shirred one. These two patterns from the 1930s have a softly shirred front panel. Draped necklines can offer a dramatic look. They can often be seen on patterns from the 1920s and early 1930s. This pattern from 1930 offers a plunging neckline that drapes into a soft tie. Here's a lovely asymmetrical drape on a dress from 1957, and another asymmetrical look from the 1960s. And look at the effect created by the tucks down the front of this dress. They shape the bodice as well as the neckline. A number of the patterns I have use ribbon trim to accent the neckline. It's a nice touch that I'm really fond of. I love the way the ribbon is applied to the shaped neckline on this dress from 1956. And how cute is the ribbon or button trim on this dress from 1953. Here's another dress from the 1950s that uses ribbon to accent the square collar. I think it makes the look. And I don't want to forget this great robe from 1945. Though the actual neckline may be simple, the large ruffle on the yoke gives it that wow effect. And this sundress from 1953 has a super interesting cutaway neckline with a standing collar. If you just want to add an interesting neckline to an existing look, Butterick 7792 has dickies, halters, collars, and cuffs to add. This was a quick look at some of the neckline options available in vintage patterns. There are many other options out there, so keep your eye out for an interesting pattern. Another wonderful feature of vintage patterns is sleeves. They can be simple or extravagant. Either way, they make an impact and give your garment a special twist. We'll take a look at some of the sleeves in my collection next week. I put out videos every Tuesday, so make sure to subscribe to be notified when the next post comes out. Let me know if you have questions about working with vintage patterns below, and be sure to like if you found this helpful. Thank you.